Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening to everyone, dear Dhamma friends. Today also we are going to talk about some Dhamma facts related to the spiritual path or the spiritual practice. So far we have had several Dhamma talks regarding this practice or the spiritual path. During those Dhamma sermons, we were talking about the basic elements of this spiritual path. When we talk about this spiritual path, we have to identify that there are several methods Buddha is elaborating this spiritual path. The foremost explanation is the threefold training, which is the Sila, Samadhi and Panya, the virtue, the concentration and the wisdom. So that is the foremost explanation given by the Buddha. Those are the four main elements. Sometimes we are explaining this practice by the help of the sevenfold purification. There are 7 stages, 7 levels we have to achieve when we are practicing this Dhamma. When we want to achieve some higher levels, higher achievements, then these are the stages we have to achieve or attain step by step. And sometimes when we consider Suttanta, we can see an example for Samanya Pala Sutta. Buddha is explaining about this practice starting from Chula Sila, Majjhima Sila and Maha Sila. That is the minor levels of the virtue, the medium levels of the virtue and the utmost level or the supreme levels of the virtue. Then he is elaborating some extra facts about this virtue by the Indriya Samvara, by the Chatu Sampajanya and Santosa Kata, how to be happy with what you have, the Apicchata. So these things, after having discussed about these things, then Buddha is explaining about the nīvaraṇa pahāna. Then he is explaining about the first absorption level, the Patamajjhana, then the second absorption level, the Dutiyajjhana, then so on. This is another explanation, this is another method to explain this spiritual path. When we talk about the Eightfold Noble Path also, it is eightfold, starting from Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa and so on. Whatever the method we use to explain this spiritual practice, we have to understand that each method or this every explanation is started with the Sila or the virtue, morality. When we talk about the threefold training, the Sila, Samadhi and Panya, the Sila, the virtue is the foremost step or the level we have to practice or to achieve. When we talk about the sevenfold purifications, then it begins with the Sila Visuddhi, the purification of the virtue or the morality. Then when we talk about the Suttantas like Samanya Pala Sutta, it begins with the virtue, Chula Sila, Majjhima Sila, Maha Sila, Indriya Samvara and so on. These things we have to consider that without the virtue, without the morality, without practicing the morality, there is no path, there is no practice in this asana. Each and every method starts with the virtue or the morality. That we have to understand. Without the basis, without the foundation of the virtue, we cannot talk about the higher levels of the practice, higher levels of this spiritual path. So, because of that reason, we have been talking about this sila and the other higher levels of this spiritual path. In the beginning, during few Dhamma talks, we were discussing about this sila or the morality. We didn't go to the deep levels, deep explanation about this sila, but we covered to some extent about this virtue or the morality. Then, when we talk about the next level of this spiritual path or the practice, when we talk about the threefold training, after the sila, then it comes to the samadhi. That is the concentration or the tranquility. By the help of the sila, we should go to the concentration. Then we have to go to the utmost level, the panya, the wisdom. We have to develop the wisdom by doing the insight meditation. Or we have to achieve the insight knowledges. We call the vipassana jnana. And at the end of the vipassana jnana, by achieving all these vipassana knowledges, insight knowledges, we can achieve the magga jnana, the noble paths and the fruitions. That is the way. And when we talk about the sevenfold purification also, after having the sila visuddhi, the purification of the virtue, then we have to develop the second purification level. What is that? Chitta visuddhi. We call the purification of the mind. That is called the concentration levels. We can say the higher levels of the tranquility, higher levels of the samatha. All the access concentrations, all the absorption levels, and the higher supernatural powers we call the abhinya or the psychic powers. These all results will fall into this chitta visuddhi, the purification of the mind. These all results you can achieve when you purify your mind from the kilesas, from the defilements. When we talk about the suttantas, like Samanyapala Sutta, after having discussed about the virtue, the morality, then Buddha is explaining about the nīvaraṇa pahāna, how to give up these, how to avoid these, how to suppress these hindrances, these defilements to a certain level. Then he is talking about, explaining about the absorption levels, jhanas, the higher levels of the tranquility. So, in this way we can see that each and every method Buddha is using to explain this practice. After having discussed the sila or the morality, virtue, then we have to talk about the samadhi, or we have to practice the samadhi. We have to pay our attention to develop the concentration within us. That is what we have to understand when we try to practice, when we try to develop within this spiritual path or the practice. And also we have to understand the ultimate goal of this spiritual path is to develop the wisdom. When we talk about the threefold training, when we talk about the sevenfold purification path, or when we talk about the suttantas, in every place, the spiritual path, at the end, we have to achieve the higher levels of the wisdom. That can be achieved only by the wisdom. By just developing the sila, you cannot achieve those results which should be achieved by the wisdom. By just developing the sila and samadhi together, even we cannot achieve those results. Those results in this sasana, in this practice, spiritual path, can be achieved, the higher levels can be achieved only by developing the wisdom, by the help of the sila and samadhi, by the help of the virtue and the concentration. That we should understand. So, we have been talking about some facts about this concentration. Actually, we are in the level of the discussing the prerequisites of this concentration. We have not come to the levels of the absorptions. We are just talking about the requirements, what we have to develop before we develop the concentration. How to make the environment, how to make the nature, how to make the convenient, comfortable situation before we try to develop the concentration. We have to understand that we should develop the sila or the virtue or the morality in a way that which helps for the concentration. And also you have to understand the development of the concentration, or you have to develop the concentration in a way that which helps for the development of the wisdom. That is the vipassana. That is the way how you should develop, how you should improve within this practice or within this spiritual path. When we talk about this spiritual path, the other thing is, within this spiritual path, the utmost or the supreme result, what we are expecting from this path or the practice is the noble paths and the fruitions. That is the end, or that is the latter part of this practice. That is our objective of developing this practice, improving within this practice. In order to achieve those maggas and phalas, the paths and the fruitions, we have to develop the vipassana, the insight meditation. By developing the vipassana, you can achieve the insight knowledges. Then at the end of the achieving all these insight knowledges, you can attain the maggas and phalas. So doing the vipassana, doing the insight meditation, or achieving the insight knowledges is the utmost or the supreme level of this practice. So why we need this, the concentration as a middle stage, at the middle element in this practice? Because the concentration levels are visible in the other sasanas as well. The Bodhisattva also had some concentration levels when he was learning under the other teachers like Uddhacca and Alara Kalama. Those are the concentration levels, higher levels of the concentration. So these levels or these results are visible in the other sasanas. So Buddha is admonishing, Buddha is advising, praising, encouraging to develop this concentration in this sasana as well. What is the reason? The reason is, by developing the concentration, you are making a very comfortable or very convenient environment to develop the vipassana. Vipassana can be done in a very effective way, in a very efficient way, once you achieve some levels of the concentration. By developing the concentration, you can achieve some psychic powers, supernatural powers. You can do various things by developing this concentration. That is not the utmost requirement, utmost objective of developing the concentration in this sasana. Our utmost objective is to help the vipassana by developing the concentration. That is why Panya Samvattanika Samadhi, that is the concentration that which helps for the wisdom, for the development of the wisdom. That is why we need the concentration. Without the concentration, there were disciples who achieved the maggas and phalas, who became arahants. But usually the disciples were developing the concentration together with the vipassana in order to achieve the maggas and the phalas. That is the common way of early disciples during the Buddha's eras, and the later disciples were practicing concentration first or together with the vipassana they are developing the concentration and they achieve the arahantship. They achieve the higher levels of the practice. By just developing the vipassana, you can achieve the arahantship. That is not a problem. There are ways that describes the method how to achieve the arahantship by just developing the vipassana only, without the help of the jhanas, without the help of the absorption levels. But usually we are having the stories that the disciples were developing the concentration together with the vipassana. That is samatha pubbangama vipassana. That is, some disciple will practice the concentration first. He will achieve some jhanas, absorption levels, tranquility levels. Then he move into the vipassana and develop the vipassana by the help of the concentration, by the help of the absorption levels. Then he will succeed in the vipassana and achieve the maggas and palas and the ultimate nibbana. Some disciples were practicing the vipassana pubbangama samatha. That is, in the early stage he is developing the vipassana and he is achieving some vipassana knowledges, but not yet achieved the maggas and palas. Then he will move into the concentration and achieve some jhana levels or absorption levels. With the help of that absorption levels, then he do the vipassana again, and he will generate all the other insight knowledges within him, and then he achieve the maggas and palas. Those kind of methods are there. We can discuss about them later, but I wanted to give a understanding that this concentration is the help. The concentration is the support for the vipassana meditation. By having at least the upachara samadhi access concentration levels, you can use that concentration level to do the vipassana in a very effective and efficient way, because that concentration is facilitating the vipassana. That concentration is making like the convenient or a comfortable nature or environment within us to do the insight meditation, to do the vipassana. That is why we should try to do something, try to achieve some developments within this tranquility, within this concentration. Sometimes you might not be able to go for jhana levels, but at least you should try to suppress these bad defilements to a certain level, that they will not be an obstacle to do your vipassana meditation. Then you can conveniently, in a very comfortable way, you can develop your vipassana and achieve the higher insight knowledges. Anyway, now we have been talking about this concentration, actually the prerequisites, pre-requirements for this concentration. In this sasana, when Buddha is elaborating something, when he is admonishing to do something, the method what he was following is, first he elaborates about the bad things, what you should give up to achieve some good levels, good results. First he is giving, dear disciples, you should give up these things, you should eliminate, you should suppress, avoid these kind of natures or the qualities within you. First he elaborates these things. Then he is elaborating about the drawbacks or the disadvantages of having those kind of bad qualities within you. What are the results that will make these results within you? So first he is mentioning, first he is giving, these are the bad things, bad qualities, bad natures within you, you should avoid, you should give up, you should suppress these things. Then also he is admonishing, these are the drawbacks what you will experience within you if you are not giving up these things, if you are not avoiding, if you are not suppressing these bad natures or the bad qualities within you. Then he is admonishing what should be achieved, what should be done in order to have the good qualities, and what are those good qualities. And also he is praising what are the benefits of having these good qualities, good natures within you. That is the nature, that is the method how he is giving the admonishments, advices. First he is showing the bad natures, bad qualities, and what are the drawbacks of them. Then he is pointing out the good qualities, good natures, and what are the benefits you can achieve, you can experience by having them, by developing the good qualities within you. That is the method he is following. That is the method of giving advices in this asana. By following that, in this context of the concentration, when you talk about the concentration, there are a few natures, bad qualities, bad natures we should give up or we should suppress. And also there are some good qualities, good natures, what we should develop within the context of concentration or the tranquility. There are some bad qualities, what we should avoid, what we should suppress, and there are some good qualities we should develop or we should increase within us, we should improve within us. And there are some bad results of these bad qualities. We have to discuss about these things. And there are good results. There are good results of these good qualities or the good natures. By developing, by improving these good qualities, you can experience those good results because of the improvements, development of these good natures, good qualities within you. When we talk about this concentration, within the context of this concentration or the tranquility, what are the things, what are the bad things, bad natures, bad qualities we should suppress? They are the hindrances. There are main 5 hindrances in this context of concentration. They are the kāmacchanda nīvaraṇa, the sensual desire, and the vyapada nīvaraṇa, the ill will or the hatred mind, thīna middha nīvaraṇa, the sloth and torpor, and the 4th one is the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, restlessness and the worry, and the vicikicca, that is the doubt. These are the nīvaraṇas or the hindrances, the qualities, what we should suppress, what we should avoid to develop the concentration. And we should identify what are the bad results they will make within ourselves with the help of these nīvaraṇas or the defilements. And what are the things, what are the natures, good qualities we should improve within ourselves? They are the jhānangas, the jhāna factors. They are the vitakka, vichara, pīti, sukha, ekaggata. We will talk about these things in future, in next Dhamma sermons. And we should identify, we should understand what are the good results they will make within ourselves when we develop these qualities within us. So first we identified what are the qualities or the bad natures we should suppress within this context of concentration. They are the 5 hindrances. And we should identify what are the bad results, bad situations they create within ourselves. And also what are the good qualities, good natures we should improve within ourselves in this context of concentration. They are the jhānangas, jhāna factors. And we should identify, we should learn what are the good results, good situations they create within ourselves when we improve, when we develop these jhāna factors or the good qualities within us. During the previous Dhamma sermons, we have been talking about these bad qualities we should suppress within this concentration in order to have the concentration, in order to develop this concentration. So we have been talking about the first 3 hindrances. Why we call them hindrances or the nīvaraṇa? Nīvaraṇanti āvaranam. What is āvarana? Is a cover. What they cover? They cover all the unachieved results in this practice. What are the unachieved results of this practice? They are the access concentration levels, absorption concentration levels, and the insight knowledges, and the paths and the fruitions, the maggas and phalas. These are the results we should achieve within this sasana, within this practice, and yet we haven't achieved them. These nīvaraṇas or the hindrances are covering these unachieved merits, unachieved results, and we cannot achieve those results because these hindrances are covering those higher levels of the higher results of this practice, or these we can call these the higher merits what we can do within this practice, spiritual path. These all results will be covered by these hindrances. That is why they are called the nīvaraṇa, because they are covering those things, those higher results. So by removing these hindrances, then these higher results, these access concentrations, absorption concentration, insight knowledges, maggas and phalas will be visible. They are visible and you can achieve them because that cover is removed. The cover is made by the hindrances. Now we have removed the hindrances, then that cover is also removed. Then easily that all these results are visible and you can achieve one by one or step by step from the concentration to the end of maggas and phalas and ultimate nibbana. So that is why they are called hindrances or the nīvaraṇas. In this context of nīvaraṇa, we have been talking about the first three nīvaraṇas. First we talk about the sensual desire, the kāmacchanda nīvaraṇa, and then we talked about the second nīvaraṇa, vyapada nīvaraṇa, that is the hatred or the ill will, and the third, last sermon we discussed about the thīna middha nīvaraṇa, that is the sloth and torpor. Now we have to talk about the fourth, the next hindrance. What is that? Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, that is the restlessness and the worry. Two realities are there, so we combine them and we call this as a single nīvaraṇa, one nīvaraṇa which is the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. So today we are going to learn about this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa in various aspects. So these are the topics what we are going to discuss related to the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, the fourth hindrance, restlessness and the worry. What are those topics I have given in this document? At the beginning we are going to get a small introduction about this restlessness and worry. What is the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa? Then we are going to have an introduction, a brief introduction about the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. What is that? What is the behavior of that? And why we call it Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa? So these things will be elaborated under that topic. Then we are going to talk about, I have mentioned earlier that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa comprises of two realities. When you talk about the realities, we are talking about the corp realities or the materialities and the mental realities. Within the mental realities or the mentalities, one reality is the chitta or the consciousness, and the other realities are the cetasikas, mental factors. Within those mental factors, there are two mental factors called Uddhacca and the Vicikicca. Within those mental factors, there are two mental factors or the two realities which are called the Uddhacca and the Kukkucca. There are two separate realities, but they were combined together like Uddhacca and Kukkucca, and we call it as a single nīvaraṇa. And we are going to talk about the reason why these two realities are combined as one nīvaraṇa. Then the third one is the behavior. When this Uddhacca Kukkucca emerges within us, what kind of results we can experience? What is the behavior of this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa when it comes to a nīvaraṇa level, stage of nīvaraṇa? So we can talk about them in this third topic. Then what are the causes to arise the Uddhacca Kukkucca? As we discussed about the previous nīvaraṇas, we talked about these topics. For this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, the restlessness and the worry, there should be some reason. Without the causes, without the reasons, the realities which will not arise, will not emerge. They need the help of the support of the causes or the reasons. So we are going to talk about what are the causes, what are the suitable environment to emerge these Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then there is a fourth one, and the fifth one, how we can understand this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa with the help of a metaphor or a simile. That would be very important for us to understand the behavior of the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa within us. It will be very easy to understand when we take a simile or a metaphor. The sixth one is the how we should identify Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa within ourselves. Because sometimes some people cannot understand even they are with the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. The practitioner should be capable of in this level. He should be able to identify when the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is there within his mind. He should be able to identify that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is there or not. How we should do that? What are the things we can do to identify this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa within ourselves? Then how we can suppress, how we can eliminate, how we can suppress these Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa to a certain level. We cannot eradicate or eliminate completely this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa from our mind, but we can suppress it for a certain period of time. It can be a longer period. For that, we should identify what are the methods, what are the things what we can do in order to suppress this Uddhacca and Kukkucca or the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. That will be discussed in the seventh topic. And the eighth one, the last topic is how the relief from this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. When you suppress this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, how that will help to develop the concentration. How the environment is created by just suppressing this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. So these things we are going to discuss today one by one. So without taking time, we can go for the first topic. What is the first topic? What is the restlessness and worry? That is, what is the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa? How we can understand that? The Pali sentences were given from the commentaries, that is from the Anguttara Nikaya commentary. Uddhacca Kukkuccanti, Uddhaccanceva, Kukkuccanca. That is as I mentioned before, there are two realities, Uddhacca and Kukkucca. When they are combined together, we call the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. That is mentioned in this Pali text. Then that is given Uddhaccang nama chittasya uddhatākāram. So how we can understand this Pali with the English translation, with the meaning of the English. So Uddhacca is a mental restlessness. Uddhacca is the mental restlessness. the state of mental agitation. Kukkucca is the sense of regret on account of good undone and bad or evil done. That means you have to understand these are two different realities. They have different qualities, different behaviors. What is the behavior? What is the nature of the Uddhacca? It is the restlessness of the mind. The restlessness is created by the Uddhacca in the mind. That is the, we can say, the anxiety, or you can say the mental agitation, the discomfort in the mind. You can say whatever the thing, but the meaning is your mind is not still, your mind is not in a steady position, steady state because of the behavior, because of the effect, influence of this Uddhacca. That is how we should understand, identify this Uddhacca, mental restlessness or mental agitation, anxiety, discomfort or unstillness, unsteadiness in the mind. This is how we should identify the Uddhacca. That is the nature of this Uddhacca reality or the mental factor. Kukkucca is that worry when you are regretting on something. Sometimes you are regretting about the things what you have done in the past. Because something bad you have done in the past, now you are thinking, I shouldn't have done that thing. Because of, but you have already done that one. Now you are regretting about that thing. You are repenting on that. You are thinking, oh, that is bad. I have done a bad thing. I shouldn't have done that thing. Now you are regretting, you are worrying about the thing, what you have done, something bad. And sometimes you are regretting, you are repenting on something, some good things, you could have done that thing. You might have done that thing if you have thought in a different way. But actually, that let's say a meritorious deed, a dana, or helping someone, these kind of things you could have done in the past, but actually you haven't done that thing. You didn't do that work because you you didn't think about that in a very good way. You are not in a position to help that. But anyway, you didn't do that. But it's a good work, it's a meritorious work, good deed. But because you haven't done that thing, now you are thinking, I should have done that thing. Now you are worrying, you are regretting about that thing. This is what Kukkucca is doing in our mind. When you are repenting, when you are regretting on something what you have done bad in the past, or something you haven't done good in the past. In these both ways, you can regret, you can have the worry within yourself. It was done by this Kukkucca. That is the nature of Kukkucca. When the Kukkucca emerges within you, that is the situation, that is the moment you will regret, you will repent on something what you have done in the past. So that is the way you have to understand this Uddhacca, nature of the Uddhacca and nature of the Kukkucca. Uddhacca is the restlessness or mental agitation, anxiety. Kukkucca is the worrying on something, regretting about something, what you have done in the past. Or you can explain this Kukkucca harping on the past. You are regretting, you are thinking about the past on memories or imaginations of wrong deeds, of omission and commissions. That is worry and guilt feeling. Sometimes you have that guilty feeling about something. You have done something wrong or you haven't done something good you should have done. But actually you didn't do that thing. On these memories, on these past activities, you are repenting, you are regretting, you are harping on that. You are harping on the past. That is another method you can define that Kukkucca, but the meaning is somewhat same. When they are combined, we say restlessness and the worry hindrance. You have to identify that there are two realities, Uddhacca and Kukkucca. Now we know they are two different realities and they have different natures. They are creating different qualities in the mind. But this Uddhacca, when we talk about the chittas, according to Abhidhamma, there are 12 akusala chittas. There are 12 akusala chittas. 8 are rooted from the lobha, the craving, and 2 are rooted from the ill will. The rest 2 are rooted from the moha, avijja. Within these, among these 12 akusala chittas, each and every akusala chitta is with the Uddhacca. Restlessness will be there in every akusala chitta. Every akusala chitta, this Uddhacca will be there. It's a common nature, common reality which arises with all the akusala chittas. You cannot have a akusala chitta without the Uddhacca. You can feel that, no? When you have a craving on something, when you have ill will or the hatred mind on something, when you are like having doubt on something, you have that unsteadiness, unstillness in your mind. Your mind is not calm. Your mind is not in a rest. You have that restlessness feeling. You have that agitating environment. So this nature is there in every akusala chittas, whether it is rooted from lobha, dosa or moha. In each and every akusala chitta, this Uddhacca is there. But when you compare that Kukkucca with the Uddhacca, Kukkucca is not there in every akusala chitta. Kukkucca will arise with only the 2 dosa mula chittas. 2 dosa mula chittas that are rooted from the dosa, from the ill will or the hatred mind. There are only 2 akusala chittas out of 12 akusala chittas. Kukkucca arises among these 2 dosa mula chittas rooted from the hatred mind, hatred or the ill will. But every dosa mula chitta, Kukkucca is not there. Kukkucca is there when you are regretting on something. Sometimes you are having some ill will, or you will have some angry feeling on someone. You want to hit someone, you want to blame someone. Then the Kukkucca is not there. Kukkucca arises in your mind among these 2 dosa mula chittas when you are repenting on something in the past, when you are regretting on something on the past. So Kukkucca is arising in this dosa mula chitta, not always, only sometimes, only particular when you are regretting on something, that particular situation is the moment where this Kukkucca arises. But you have to understand, Uddhacca arises in all the akusala chittas, but Kukkucca arises only in 2 dosa mula chittas, but not always. When there is a regretting, that Kukkucca arises. This nīvaraṇa, Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is a single nīvaraṇa, but it is having the 2 realities, 2 defilements, Uddhacca and Kukkucca. You have to understand, Uddhacca is not a hindrance when it is not with the Kukkucca. We don't call that Uddhacca alone a Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. That is why they are combined together. We don't call the Uddhacca nīvaraṇa. Even though Uddhacca is arising with all the akusala chittas, we don't call that Uddhacca nīvaraṇa. Uddhacca comes to the nīvaraṇa stage or the hindrance, level of the hindrance, when it is combined with the Kukkucca. When the Uddhacca, restlessness, is combined with the Kukkucca or the regretting or the worrying, then these two realities are combined together, then we call Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then that Uddhacca comes to the level of the hindrance, level of the nīvaraṇa. Otherwise, we don't call them the single, the alone Uddhacca. We don't call Uddhacca nīvaraṇa. Only when they are combined together, we call the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Restlessness and the worry. That is the hindrance. The hindrance is a somewhat powerful stage of these defilements. Uddhacca comes to that powerful stage with the help of the Kukkucca. When they are combined together, then they can create something more powerful within our mind. They can cover the unachieved merits, unachieved results in this spiritual path. That is what they do when they are combined. So that should be understood by you, because these only when these two defilements or the two realities are combined, we can call as a Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Because of these two effects, there is a lack of mental stillness. You cannot focus on one thing because of the effect, because of the influence of this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. All the Uddhacchas in all the Akusala Chittas creating this one, but we don't call them as a nīvaraṇa. It has not come to that powerful stage as a hindrance. But when it is combined with this thing, then the mental stillness is destroyed. You cannot have the focus, you can have that concentration on something, on one thing, because your mind tends to go to another object, and after that another object. The mind will take one object after one object, like a monkey is jumping from one tree to another. That is what is happening when this nīvaraṇa is there. You cannot focus on something because you are not having the stillness, steadiness, or that calmness in your mind because of the influence of these two realities or the one nīvaraṇa, Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, restlessness and the worry. Okay, without taking time, we are going to the second topic. Why those two realities are combined as one nīvaraṇa. This same topic we discussed in the previous Tīna Middha nīvaraṇa, sloth and torpor. Sloth is one reality that is making the sluggishness, sleepiness, lethargy in the mind. That is called the Tīna. Middha or the torpor is the reality, nature which creates the sluggishness, lethargy or the sleepiness on mental factors. But when they are combined together, we call the sloth and torpor. There is a speciality in this restlessness and the worry when we compare with the Tīna and Middha. Tīna, Middha always arise together. Tīna will not arise without the Middha. Middha will not arise without the Tīna. That is, they are combined together, they arise together, they vanish together. That is a specialty with the Tīna and Middha. But when we compare the restlessness and the worry, we have to think. Sometimes the Uddhacca arises without the Kukkucca. But Kukkucca cannot arise without the Uddhacca, because Uddhacca is a common nature for all the Akusala Chittas. Kukkucca cannot avoid the Uddhacca, but Uddhacca can avoid Kukkucca and arise alone in a different Akusala Chitta or same Dosa Mula Chitta without the Kukkucca. When you are regretting on something, Uddhacca is also there, Kukkucca is also there. But Tīna Middha, they arise together all the time. But during that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, during that discussion, we explain why these two realities, the sloth and the torpor, the Tīna and Middha, they are combined together as one nīvaraṇa. There were three reasons actually. What are those? Kiccato, because they are having the same functionality. Their function is same, and they have the same paccaya. Paccaya means the causes. To arise the Tīna and Middha, they had the same causes. And the patipakkato, when we compare the opposite natures, Tīna and Middha had the same opposite nature, that is the virya. Because we talk based on these three elements or these three facts, the functionality and the causes and the opposite natures, we combine these two realities together and we call as a single nīvaraṇa, Tinamidda nīvaraṇa, or the sloth and torpor. In the same way, we are explaining these Uddhacca and Kukkucca because they are combined together. Even though they are two different realities, they were combined together as a one nīvaraṇa, one hindrance. Because they have these similarities. What are the similarities? Kiccato, functionality is same. Paccayato, the causes are same. And the patipakkato, the opposite natures are same. So what are these functions or the functionalities of these Uddhacca and Kukkucca? Both destroy the stillness of the mind or the steadiness of the mind and make the mind impatient or fidgety. This Uddhacca and Kukkucca both makes that nature, so functionality is same. That is why they are combined together. The second one, the causes to arise, paccayato. When we talk about the causes, disasters or the catastrophic situations are the causes to arise, to emerge these restlessness and worry. We can say the disasters to our family, disasters to our wealth, or disasters to our health. When you are sick, these things will come to our mind. Uddhacca and Kukkucca. These are the common natures, common causes to arising of these two realities. The causes are same. Because of that similarity, we combine these restlessness and the worry together and we will give as a single nīvaraṇa or the hindrance. Third fact is the opposite nature. When we talk about the opposite natures of Uddhacca, it is opposite to the concentration or the tranquility, we call the samatha. When we talk about the Kukkucca, it is opposite to the concentration or the samatha or the tranquility. Because of the similarity of the Uddhacca and Kukkucca, by the context of opposite natures, they both opposite to the samatha or the tranquility, concentration. Then we combine these together. So there are three reasons to combine these two realities to make one nīvaraṇa. The functionalities are same. Because of the similarity, we combine them together. And the causes to arise within this mind, these causes are same. Then because of that similarity, we combine them together. And the third one is the opposite natures are same. Because of that similarity, we combine these together. Those are the reasons why these two different realities, two different natures are combined together to become one hindrance actually. Then we can go to the third topic, the behavior of the Uddhacca and Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is feeling of restlessness, nervousness, impatience, agitation and anxiety along with the worrying or regretting about the past. There are various words I have included to describe the behavior of the Uddhacca. Those are the words of feeling of restlessness, the nervousness, they have some different, some little bit difference, but we can use those words to describe the behavior of the Uddhacca. So feeling of restlessness, nervousness, impatience, agitation and anxiety. These words can be used to describe the behavior of the Uddhacca, the restlessness. And when we talk about the Kukkucca, the worrying or regretting about the past, harping on the past. What you have done, bad. What you haven't done, good. So you are regretting about things, or about the bad things what you have done. Oh, I shouldn't have done that bad thing. Sometimes you are regretting on the good things what you haven't done. I should have done that good thing. I should have done that merit. So these kind of things will come to our mind and you are worrying about the past. you are regretting or repenting about the past. That is called the worrying. That is the behavior of this kukkucca. Restlessness is mostly a mental unease which in the due course can lead to bodily unease. When the restlessness in our mind, sometimes it creates some difficult or the uncomfortable nature you can feel within your body as well, such as fidgeting and discomfort. You can feel those things. That is a behavior of this uddhacca. Worry, the kukkucca. Worry often arises as a result of recalling some past misdeed, the bad deeds what you have done, or unhappiness. Sometimes you are recalling something but you are not happy. So when you are recalling that, when that memory comes to your mind, you feel kukkucca, you are regretting about that. Real or perceived. So that we are burdened with regret and guilt feeling. That is the nature of the behavior of this kukkucca. You have that regret mindset, repenting mindset or worrying mindset when the kukkucca is there. So you have that guilty feeling about something you have done in the past in a bad way, or something you haven't done in the past what you should have done in a good way. These things are the behavior, these are the natures of the behavior of this kukkucca. We may feel discontent about the practice, because when you are developing this practice, sometimes you feel discontent. You are not happy with that practice. You cannot go forward in a very strong way. When this uddhacca kukkucca is there, you have that unsteady or unstable nature, unstable behavior, anxiety, agitation within your mind, and always that regret comes to your mind and you cannot focus about the practice. Then sometimes the meditation or your practice is not successful. You cannot engage with this practice in a very effective and efficient way because of this influence of the uddhacca and the kukkucca. These uddhacca kukkucca influencing us when our concentration is not that much strong, when our concentration is poor, when it is weak. This uddhacca kukkucca arises in a very strong way. Then these effects, these behaviors will be more powerful. When your concentration is not in a very powerful, in a very stable position, stable condition, then this uddhacca kukkucca arising time to time with the causes, with the suitable environment, then it is influencing us, and these behaviors can be seen or experienced by you when your concentration is not powerful, not strong. And sometimes you are not contemplating about the bad results, drawbacks of these restlessness and the worry. If you are contemplating about these bad results of these two realities or the one hindrance, then you try to avoid this restlessness and the worry. And sometimes you are not contemplating about the benefits of having the concentration. Benefits of having the concentration. Then your concentration is not that much strong. In one way, you are not contemplating, you are not thinking wisely about the drawbacks of having this uddhacca kukkucca in your mind. And on the other way, you are not contemplating, you are not thinking wisely with the wisdom, the benefits of having the concentration or benefit of suppressing of the uddhacca kukkucca. Then the behavior, the influence of the uddhacca kukkucca will be more powerful. Then you can experience that thing. You can experience those restlessness, unsteadiness, unstillness, anxiety, these things, and the worrying, regretting. These can be felt by you within you when you are not contemplating about the drawbacks of the uddhacca kukkucca, or when you are not contemplating about the benefits of the concentration or suppressing the uddhacca kukkucca in a wise way or with the wisdom. We can see the admonishment given by the Buddha how to get rid of this Uddhacca and Kukkucca, or the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Abandoning restlessness, the Uddhacca, and worry, the Kukkucca, he dwells undisturbed by this Uddhacca and Kukkucca. He dwells undisturbed, his mind inwardly still. He is having very calm mind. He cleanses his mind of restlessness and worry. That is what is given in this Pali text. So this is the meaning. So Buddha is admonishing to get rid of this restlessness and the worry. And when he suppresses this restlessness and worry, then he can dwell undisturbed by this Uddhacca and Kukkucca. His mind is inwardly stilled. You can have that calm nature, calm environment within you, within your mind, because when the influence, when the effects of this restlessness and worry is not there, when you can cleanse your mind from this restlessness and worry, then you can stay, you can dwell undisturbed in a very calm environment, in a calm way. You can maintain your mindset in a very still way, steady way, in a calm way. That comfortability is there. Then we can go for the fourth one. What are the causes to arise the Uddhacca and Kukkucca? So the Pali sentence is there. I have taken from the Maha Satipatthana commentary. So we can go for the meaning. What are the causes to arise the restlessness and the worry? So here it is called Atti Bhikkave Chetaso Aupasamo. My dear disciples, there is a nature or the quality called Chetaso Aupasamo. Tatta Ayoniso Manasikara Bahulikaro. About this Chetaso Aupasamo, someone can think, someone can contemplate without the wisdom. Someone can think about this Chetaso Aupasamo in a bad way, without the wisdom, in an unwise way. When someone is contemplating about this Uddhacca and Kukkucca in unwise way or without the wisdom, it is the cause, it is the reason to emerge new Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, and it is the same cause to come to a powerful stage of a weak Uddhacca Kukkucca. You had some weak level of the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Because of this reason, it will grow to improve to a very powerful stage. So we have to explain what is this Chetaso Aupasamo and what is this Ayoniso Manasikara Bahulikaro, because that is the reason, that is a cause to emerge or have the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa in our mind. There is a state called unstill mind, that is the Chetaso Aupasamo. That is, unstill mind is called Chetaso Aupasamo. That is a nature we can experience within our mind. So time to time we can have that experience, we can have that nature within ourselves, that is called the Chetaso Aupasamo. Unsteadiness, anxiety, or the unstill mindset, we can call that the Chetaso Aupasamo. Frequently, that is Bahulikaro, frequently giving unwise attention, that is called the Ayoniso Manasikara, is the giving the attention unwisely, without the help of the wisdom. Bahulikaro means the frequently. Very often you are giving the unwise attention to that nature. What is that nature? The state of the unstill mind, unsteady minds, or the anxiety, or the worry, or the repenting. Whatever the thing, you are giving the unwise attention. You are not contemplating that nature or the state with the wisdom. So when you are frequently giving unwise attention to this nature, unstill mind state, this is the nourishment, this is the cause for the rising of restlessness and worry. This is the cause for emerging the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. That has not arisen. Earlier that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa was not there. Because of that reason, you have given frequently attention to this Chetaso Aupasamo, unstill mind, in an unwise manner, without the wisdom. That is the reason to arising, that is the reason to emerging new restlessness and worry that has not arisen in the past. And the nourishment, that is the cause, the suitable nature or supportive nature for the increase and strengthening of the restlessness and worry has already arisen. Some restlessness and worry has arisen in your mind in a very weaker way. That is not in a very powerful state. But when you are giving frequently attention to that Chetaso Aupasama, or that condition or that nature, very oftenly or frequently, then that weak, the state, initially the Uddhacca Kukkucca was in a very weak position, weak state, but when you are giving attention frequently in an unwise manner, that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa will grow to a very powerful state. That is the cause for the nourishment, or that is the nourishment or the cause for the development of the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then Aupasamo nama, then the Aupasama, the term Aupasama is described in a different place in this way. Aupasamo is an unstill nature of the mind, or unsettled or agitated mind. Aupasamo means that unstill nature, that condition of our mind. You can say unstilled or agitated mind. You don't have that calm feeling within your mind, calm nature, comfortable nature, or the environment within your mind. That is called the Aupasamo. We can say the Chetaso Aupasamo means that nature of the mind. Chetaso Aupasamo. Aupasamo means the unsteady nature, unstill nature of the mind. Whether it is Aupasamo or whether it is Chetaso Aupasamo, the meaning is the unstill nature or unsteady nature of our mind, agitated nature of the mind. This is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca. That is given by Uddhacca Kukkuccang eva etang namang atho. That means that this Aupasamo is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. When you call Chetaso Aupasamo, it is same as the Uddhacca Kukkucca, or the restlessness and the worry. What is given in the Anguttara Nikaya commentary about this Chetaso Aupasamo? Chetaso Aupasamo ti. What is Chetaso Aupasamo? Uddhacca Kukkuccassevetang nama. That means it is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca. Whether you use the term Chetaso Aupasamo, or whether you use the Uddhacca Kukkucca of the mind, then it has the same meaning. The same meaning is there in the Chetaso Aupasamo and the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Aupasamo is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca, same as the previous definition. It is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca, or the restlessness and the worry. Aupasanta chitta, that is a term which is given the Aupasama in a very elaborated way. Aupasama chitta, Aupasanta chitta is the unsettled state which is not settled by, because Aupasamo is the nature of the unsteady. Aupasamo is the unsteady nature, or the unstill nature which is in the mind. It is a synonym for the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then Aupasama chitta is that mind which is not settled, which is not in a steady environment. In which way it is not settled? The mind is not settled by the samatha, by the tranquility meditation or the concentration. By developing the samatha or the tranquility meditation, the mind is not settled. And also by developing the vipassana meditation also, your mind is not settled. That is what is mentioned here, aupasanta chitta. The chitta, the mind is not settled. In which way? In which manner? It is not settled by the samatha, by the tranquility, or it is not settled by the vipassana, by the insight meditation. You can settle your mind, you can develop the concentration by developing the samatha and by developing the vipassana. In these both ways you can develop the concentration, or you can suppress that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. But if someone has not done that part, if he is not practicing the samatha or either the vipassana, the insight meditation, that settledness or that steadiness is not there in the mind. That is, in that mind, that unsettled state is there, unstable nature is there. That mind we call the aupasanta chitta. Unwise attention is based on ignorance. We have discussed this in the previous 3 hindrances as well. We are talking about 5 hindrances, but the root cause is the ignorance. Unwise attention. Why you are giving the unwise attention to the chetaso aupasamo? When there is a state called unsettled mind, that ignorance is there. Because of the ignorance, you are focusing on that Uddhacca Kukkucca, which is in your mind, in a bad way, without the mind, because ignorance doesn't have the wisdom. When the ignorance is there, wisdom is not there. So ignorance, avidya, is the root condition, the root cause for suffering, which is a lack of understanding the true reality. That is because of the avidya, this Uddhacca Kukkucca arises. Because we know that avidya is there in every akusala chitta. When the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa arises, emerges in the mind, the avidya also there. Because of the avidya, because of that moha or the ignorance, this is supported by that. This Uddhacca Kukkucca is supported. This is the root cause for that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Here, in earlier, we were talking about the causes, that there is a state called unstill mind. Then there is a state, then you are focusing on that. You are giving the attention frequently to that mental state, unstill mindset, in a different way, without the wisdom, in an unwise way. You are focusing on that, you are thinking about that, you are contemplating about that without the wisdom. We said that is the cause, that is the reason to arise new Uddhacca Kukkucca. How that can happen? How that can happen? And we said, we discussed that this is this same cause is the reason to arise, to develop the existing Uddhacca Kukkucca to a developed or the powerful stage, stronger stage. How this could happen? Let's take an example. You are having some unsteady mind or the unstill mind. You are having that restlessness and the worry in your mind. You are regretting about something. This kind of thing is happening in your mind. Okay. But let's say you are worrying about something. You have some restlessness towards the health. You have some difficult situation in your body. You are having some sickness. So your mind is not settled because you are regretting about your sickness. You have some restlessness in your mind because of the sickness. Okay. Now you are not analyzing that in a wise way. You are not contemplating about that. This is restlessness in my mind. I am regretting about something. That is not a good thing. That is akusala. That is not a merit. So I should avoid that one. He is not thinking about that in that way. So then what is happening inside him, that the small, because he is having some restlessness and the worry towards his health, towards his sickness. If he is not giving the wise attention to this, then a new restlessness and the worry will arise towards another object, taking another object. Let's take, he was repenting, regretting about something related to the health. About the sickness, he is repenting. What happened? A new object is taken by the restlessness, and he is getting a past memory, and he is regretting about that thing. That is the way, because he didn't contemplate about the existing restlessness in a wise manner, then he gave the permission to arise a new restlessness and the worry towards another object, towards a previous or past memory. That new restlessness and the worry emerges or arises in the mind. That is the way that frequently giving unwise attention towards the unstill mind or the restlessness and the worry, how it can cause, how it can support to arise or emerge a new restlessness and worry. How it make that the existing restlessness and the worry to become a stronger way. When you are repenting, when you are regretting, or when you are thinking in an unwise manner about your health, about your sickness, then initially the restlessness and the worry towards your sickness, towards your health is in a weaker state. It is not that much strong. But if you are thinking again and again in unwise manner about that feeling, about that mindset, then what would happen? Then the existing weak Uddhacca Kukkucca will develop slowly, and it will come to a very strong level. Initially it was weak, that's true, but you had Uddhacca Kukkucca towards your health, towards your sickness, but you were thinking about that again and again without the wisdom. Then what happened? That existing weak restlessness and worry developed, improved to a stronger way. Now it is difficult to get rid of. That is how you have to understand this restlessness and worry. What are the causes to arise? The arising of the restlessness and worry, and the improvement or the to become a stronger level of this Uddhacca and Kukkucca, or the restlessness and worry. Then we can go to the next level, next topic, simile with regards to the Uddhacca Kukkucca. Without taking time, we can go to the English translation. A slave. What is the simile is taken for the Uddhacca Kukkucca? The slavery or the slave. A slave, you know, ancient times there were slaves. This is not just a servant. Slave is owned by the master. Master can whatever the thing he want to do to the slave. He can cut his legs, hands, ears, nose, whatever the thing he can do to that slave. Master can even kill that person, kill that slave. That is not like a bad thing considered in that ancient era, because slavery is like that. Today we cannot do those kind of things to a servant, but in ancient times, the slave, the master can do anything to that slave. Even the slave is killed by the master, no one blame him, no one blame the master. There are ample of stories that a master has killed his own slave in different sections in the Tipitaka also. You can find ample of stories, examples for that. So that kind of a slave who wants to enjoy himself, there is like festivals or something, he can go and enjoy. But now he is not a normal person, he is a slave. Slave cannot go anywhere without the permission of the master. If the master allows him to go somewhere, then only he can go and enjoy the festival. Now the slave, he wants to go to the festival and enjoy, have some good time. But a slave who wants to enjoy himself at a festival, but what happened? He is told by his master, go quickly. There is an urgent work to be done. So you have to go quickly to such and such a place. There is an urgent work to be done. You have to go to that place. You cannot go to the festival to enjoy. You have to do this work. So otherwise, if you do not go, I shall have your hands and face cut off, or your ears and noses cut off. That is the nature. Master is not just giving these to frighten this person. He has that ability. He has that permission to do whatever the thing to that slave. So what will think the slave when the master said some sort of these things? If you do not go to that place to do that urgent work, I will cut your hands, ears, legs and the nose. So you have to go quickly and complete this task immediately. Then what will happen to the slave? Hearing that, the slave will quickly go as ordered. Why? Because he knows that if he doesn't follow these orders, if he doesn't do this work or the task, obviously, definitely the master will do that thing. Sometimes the master can kill him. So the slave is frightened, so he will go quickly as ordered, and he will not be able to join the festival and enjoy the any part of the festival. This is because of the dependence of the slave on his master. Because of that dependence, because of that slavery, he cannot go whatever the place he wants. How we can compare the slavery with the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa? In the same way, it is with a monk, not well versed, not who is skillful in the Vinaya, in the moral code of conduct. He is not skillful. He has not learned the Vinaya into a good level. Now he wants to have the calm nature, have the loneliness. He wants to do the meditation alone. Then he will go to the forest. Who has gone to the forest for the sake of solitude? He wants to do some meditation alone in a calm nature to do the practice by himself. But what happened? If in any matter, but the thing is, he is not skillful in the Vinaya or the rules and the promulgations promulgated by the Buddha. If in any matter, down to the question of permissible meat such as pork, there are several meats we cannot have. The monk is not allowed to have those kind of meats. What are those? The lion meat, leopard meat, the bear meat, the elephant's meat, snake's meat, those kind of things, dog meat, those kind of things cannot have by a monk. There are 10 such kind of meat, 10 categories of meat. So this person knows there are unallowed, unsuitable meat I cannot have, I cannot eat, but he doesn't know what are the meat exactly, but a monk cannot eat. He got some meat such as pork. Pork is allowable, and chicken meat, those kind of things, fish can be taken by a monk. They are not rejected by the Buddha. There is no promulgation to avoid those kind of flesh or the meat. But this person, this monk, doesn't have the knowledge what are the unallowed ones or unsuitable ones, or what are the allowed meats I can eat. So what happened? And thinking that it is not the permissible meat, but he has that kukkucca, he is having that worry, or he is thinking again and again whether I have done a offense, whether I have broke a rule which is promulgated by the Buddha. This because now he came to the forest to have the solitude, to have the loneliness, in order to practice the spiritual path, in order to practice the meditation, samatha and vipassana. But what happened? he got pindapata, he got some meat and he ate that one. Now he is having that feeling when he sit down for the meditation, when he come to the meditation posture, when he is contemplating about the meditation object, then this comes. Whether I have done the offense or not, whether I have eaten unsuitable or unallowed meat by myself. So what happened? He cannot focus on the meditation object. Then he needs some help from a skillful person or a Vinaya master. What he will do? He has to disrupt, he has to give up his solitude. He has to give up the nature, the calmness of the forest, and he has to find a better person who can help him about this Vinaya matters. He will go to a Vinaya master to purify his moral conduct. He wants to know whether I have done the offense, whether I have eaten unallowable meat. So, in order to purify that thought, he has to go to a Vinaya master and ask about this thing. Then what would happen? He will purify his mind. Okay, I have done that offense, then he can purify. Oh, I have not done that offense. Then he has come to a conclusion and again come to the forest for the solitude to develop the meditation with samatha and vipassana. What would happen? Another thing will happen. Same like the meat story. So another thing will happen. Whether I have done an offense or not, whether I have done some bad things or not, whether I have exceeded promulgation which is promulgated by the Buddha. So this come to the mind time to time because his Vinaya knowledge is not enough to come to a conclusion. Then again he has to go to the Vinaya master and ask about this question to come to a conclusion. He has to give up the solitude or the forest for a moment and has to go to a Vinaya master who is skillful in the Vinaya, the moral conduct, and he has to purify his moral conduct. This is what has happened to the monk who is going to the forest or the solitude without having the proper knowledge. This is the simile. Slavery is given as the example or the metaphor, simile for the restlessness. How it is compared. Thus he will not be able to experience the joy of the solitude. Why he went to the forest? To enjoy the solitude, to develop the concentration, to develop the insight knowledges, to develop the tranquility and the insight meditation. But what happened? He went to the forest to have the solitude, but he had to give up that because he is depending on someone else. He is depending on that Vinaya master. Whatever the thing comes to his mind which is making his unsteady, unstill, then at the same time he has to go to the Vinaya master. Earlier in the metaphor, why the slave couldn't enjoy the festival? He is under the dependence. He is under the because of his dependence on his master. Why this monk cannot enjoy the solitude, cannot enjoy the calm nature of the mind? Why? What is the reason? He cannot experience the joy of the solitude due to his being overcome by the restlessness and worry, because he is depending on the Vinaya masters. So he cannot come to a conclusion by himself, and he is the influence of the restlessness and worry. He is depending on the restlessness and worry because the restlessness and worry overcome in his mind. In this way, restlessness and worry are like slavery, or you can say that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is like the slavery. Slavery, because of that slavery, he cannot take his own decisions because he is under the dependence on the master. In this second, the simile, in this second example, the monk cannot enjoy the solitude, cannot enjoy the true results of this path, of this a spiritual practice, because always these kind of thoughts come to his mind because of the lack of knowledge, because he cannot eliminate, he cannot suppress this restlessness and worry by himself because of some reasons, because of the lack of the knowledge about the Vinaya, because of the lack of the Dhamma knowledge, and because lack of the true friends, good friends. These can be happen for a monk because he is not having the good or the suitable natures to overcome restlessness and the worry. This is the simile and how you should compare with this thing. Then, without taking time, we can go to the next topic, how we should identify Uddhacca and Kukkucca. This is given as the same what we have discussed about the other nīvaraṇas. When there is restlessness and worry in him, he understands there is restlessness and worry in me. When there is no restlessness and worry in him, he understands there is no restlessness and worry in me. This is very important because when this restlessness is within ourselves, we should be able to understand whether the restlessness is there in my mind or not, whether the worry is there in my mind or not. The problem is many cannot identify that restlessness and the worry. They are like they are engaging with these two natures again and again frequently, because they are not identifying this as akusala. This is the bad thing, and this will create these kind of effects on me. This is very important. If there is restlessness in me, if there is worry in me, we should understand, oh, that Uddhacca Kukkucca is there in me. When you suppress this Uddhacca Kukkucca or the restlessness and the worry, he should identify there is no restlessness and worry, there is no Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa on me now. I am free from Uddhacca Kukkucca for a certain period of time. Again and again it will arise and it will vanish. You have to focus on this. You have to identify when I have the Uddhacca Kukkucca and when I don't have the Uddhacca Kukkucca. He understands the arising of unarisen restlessness and the worry. Earlier, he didn't have the restlessness and the worry. Now, he is focusing on his mind. He identifies or he realizes that on a particular occasion, this restlessness and the worry arises, emerges. At the same time, he realizes that. Then the next step is he understands the letting go of the suppressing or the vanishing of the arisen restlessness and worry. Now he realizes, the restlessness and the worry, Uddhacca Kukkucca is there in my mind. Now I am with the Uddhacca Kukkucca. Okay, now I am doing some certain things, and in a certain point, the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa vanishes. Then he realizes that part at the very moment. Earlier I was with the Uddhacca Kukkucca, now it was not there. Now it is not there. It is vanished. That is realized by him. The last one, he understands the further non-arising of the restlessness and worry that he has given up. Now, this is done by the maggas, the noble paths. When the Uddhacca Kukkucca are two different realities, Uddhacca is eliminated, eradicated completely by one magga, one noble path. Kukkucca is completely eradicated by another noble path. Anyway, when it is eradicated completely, he realizes that Uddhacca Kukkucca they are eliminated, eradicated completely. In future, I will not have that Uddhacca Kukkucca in my mind. No more Uddhacca Kukkucca. It cannot emerge within my mind because they are eradicated completely by the noble paths. These steps are very important because Uddhacca Kukkucca is the natural condition which comes to our mind. It's that nature time to time emerges within ourselves. With the suitable causes, with the suitable environment, we will have the restlessness and the worry. That is not a failure, because as a Putujjana, we have not eradicated these Uddhacca and Kukkucca completely. Because of that reason, because it is not eradicated completely by the noble path, it can come to the emerging state. So it is not a failure. You should not get upset with that emerging, with the arising of this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. It is like the natural environment, natural condition. It happens to everyone time to time. But the thing is, you should not be upset with that one. If you get upset about the arising of the Uddhacca Kukkucca, then sometimes you will be having some patiga. Another nīvaraṇa called the ill will, hindrance will arise in your mind. You are inviting, you are opening the door for another hindrance if you are not wise enough to contemplate about that thing. If you are getting upset about that arising of the emerging of the Uddhacca Kukkucca, then you are inviting another hindrance to come to the emerging state. That should not be done. You should realize that Uddhacca Kukkucca has come to the emerging state. That is the thing you have to do in that very moment. You should not do something immediately. That is why we have to understand, realize this thing. Then, like the same simile, when an enemy comes to a group of people, when he is realized by the group of people, the enemy cannot be there for a longer period. He has to run away. Likewise, when akusala is realized by us, akusala cannot remain in our mind. It will slowly vanish. It will come to end slowly, and you can be free from that akusala for that moment. That is not a permanent solution. Again, with the same suitable environment or the causes, that Uddhacca Kukkucca will arise. That should be understood by you. Not to get upset by the emerging or the arising of the Uddhacca Kukkucca. You should understand, you should focus, you should contemplate about that with the wisdom. That will be enough to give up that Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then seventh, how we can suppress Uddhacca Kukkucca and what are the steps for that? There is the still, steady nature. Earlier we called atti bhikkave cetaso avupasamo. Here atti bhikkave cetaso vupasamo. The opposite nature of the cetaso avupasamo. What is cetaso vupasamo? Tatta yoniso manasikara bahulikaro. Earlier that is ayoniso manasikara bahulikaro. The ayoniso manasikara, the paying the frequent attention to the unstill mindset. Here you are contemplating wisely with the wisdom towards the still mindset, concentration. So when you are giving frequent attention, that frequent attention means you are contemplating about the benefits of the cetaso vupasamo, benefits of the concentration. Then that Uddhacca Kukkucca will come to the end. They will vanish. There is the still, steady nature of the mind. That is called the cetaso vupasamo. By giving the frequently wise attention, that is the yoniso manasikara bahulikaro, frequently giving the attention to that nature. What is that nature? Still, or the steady nature of the mind. You can say the tranquility of the mind, concentration of the mind. That is the cetaso vupasamo. By giving the frequently wise attention to that nature, that condition, that is the cause, that is the help, that is the support to of the mind. Arisen restlessness and worry does not arise, and the arisen restlessness and worry is abundant. That should be understood by you. You have to contemplate about that concentration. What are the benefits of that concentration? What can be the nature of my mind when I am having that concentration, still mindset? Then you can have that you can give up that, you can settle that Uddhacca and Kukkucca. You can vanish the existing restlessness and the worry slowly and step by step. That is the course, that is the way, the main course to remove the Uddhacca Kukkucca. And there are 6 things are conducive to the abandonment of restlessness and worry. What are those 6 things? The one is the Bahussutata, that is the deep learning, becoming a well knowledgeable person. Becoming a well knowledgeable person. When you are having more knowledge about the Vinaya and about the Dhammas, about the realities, how to do meditation, how to do the Vipassana, then he will be a Bahussutta person. He has a deep learning. Becoming a well knowledgeable person will help to remove, vanish, to give up the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Second one is Paripucchakata, constant questioning, clarification of the Dhamma and Vinaya through inquiry. You are questioning about these things again and again to clear that part. Then Paripucchakata means that one, constant questioning. Then your mind will be purified towards the Dhamma. That will helpful to give up the Uddhacca Kukkucca. Vinaya Pakatanyuta, when someone is well versed in the Vinaya, very skillful in the Vinaya, then he knows all the rules and the promulgation which are promulgated by the Buddha. What are the rules in this moral conduct? Then he is very in a stable position to come to a conclusion whether I have done something wrong or not. That is called the Vinaya Pakatanyuta. It will be helpful to remove the Uddhacca Kukkucca. Buddha Sevita, approaching or associating the experienced elders or the seniors. When you are associating the well-experienced, well-known elders or seniors, then that is called the Buddha Sevita. By associating those kind of experienced elders, that will be helpful to remove or give up the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Kalyana Mittata, same as the previous nīvaraṇas, hindrances, noble spiritual friendship. And Sappaya Kata is the conducive conversation. These are the 6 things you can practice within yourself in order to get rid of these Uddhacca and Kukkucca. Opposite nature of the restlessness and the worry. Opposite natures. When attaining, because we were talking about the natures, what we should suppress. And we are going to talk about the natures we should develop within the mind in the context of the concentration. So there is the opposite nature of each hindrance. What is the opposite nature to the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa? What is the opposite nature of the restlessness and the worry? When attaining absorption, concentration, when you are attaining the absorption, concentration, or we can say the jhana levels. Among the 5 jhana factors, there are 5 jhana factors, Vitakka, Vichara, Pīti, Sukha, Ekaggata. Among those 5 jhana factors, pleasure, Sukha, is the opposite nature to the restlessness and the worry. That pleasure or the Sukha suppresses the restlessness and worry because it is having the opposite nature to the restlessness and the worry. When you are developing the Sukha or the pleasure within you as a jhana factor, then you can suppress restlessness and the worry within you. When you come to the jhana level, when you come to the access concentration levels, your restlessness and the worry or the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa is suppressed for a certain period of time. Not completely eradicated, but it is suppressed. It is suppressed for a longer period, for a certain period of time. How the restlessness and the worry is eradicated completely? How you can eradicate that completely? Worry is completely eliminated or eradicated by the path of non-returning, which is called the noble path called the Anagami Magga. The Anagami, path of Anagami, path of non-returning. By that noble path, the worry, the Kukkucca, is completely eradicated. What about the Uddhacca? Restlessness is completely eradicated or eliminated by the path of Arahanthood. By the path of Arahanthood or Arahanta Magga. So you can see there are two different realities. One reality, the worry, the Kukkucca is eradicated completely by one noble path. The other reality, the other akusala mental factor is completely eliminated by another noble path. So in different stages they are completely eradicated. This is the complete eradication, not a suppressing. Earlier this one is the when you are attaining the absorption levels or the jhanas, by the sukha, the pleasure, that jhana factor will suppress the restlessness and the worry for a certain period of time. It can be years or months or weeks based on your attainment. But by the noble paths, this restlessness is eradicated by the path of arahathood, and the worry, the Kukkucca, is eliminated by the path of non-returning anagami magga. Then the last topic, how the relief from the Uddhacca Kukkucca helps concentration. This is same as the previous discussion. This is when we talk about the slavery, this is with related to the simile what we have taken earlier. Suppose Maharaja is the king, that a man is a slave subject to others. He has the dependence on his master, not subject to himself. He cannot take by decisions by himself, unable to go where he likes. As time passes, he eventually is released. He is released from the slavery, subject to himself, not subject to the others. Now he got free from the slavery. Now he can go wherever he wants. He can do whatever he wants because he doesn't have that dependence on the master. Now he is able to go where he likes. The thought would occur to him. Then he will be thinking, before I was a slave, now I am released from the slavery, subject to myself. Now I am not under the dependence on anyone. I am not under the dependence on the master. No, now he have that experience of joy and happiness. He is having that experience. He is joyful about the new condition because earlier he was suffering from the slavery. Now he got free from the slavery. Now he has that experience of joy and experience. In the same way, when these 5 hindrances are suppressed, and when someone contemplates his mind by achieving the access concentration, the upachara samadhi, or by achieving the absorption concentration or the jhana samadhi, then all these 5 hindrances, the kamachanda, vyapada, tinamidda, uddhacca kukkucca and vicikicca, all these 5 hindrances are suppressed. So when he contemplates about this suppression, then the mind tends to the joy. We call the pamojja. That pamojja arises within himself. When the joy is there, when the pamojja is there, it is helpful. By the help of this joy, with the nature of this joy, then the rapture, the powerful happiness, the piti, the rapture arises. Pamojja is the low level of happiness. Piti is the high level, strong level of the happiness. That piti arises. When the piti is there, when the rapture is there, what happens? The serenity, the passaddhi, the calm level, calmness, the comfortability, that calmness of the mind will arise in his mind as well as the body. Arises in the body. Earlier, in the initial stage, it arises in the mind. Then you can feel, you can experience that serenity in your body as well. Because of the pamojja, piti arises. Because of the piti, passaddhi, the serenity arises. Because of the help of that serenity, then the pleasure, the sukha arises in the body. His mind is now in a very comfortable state. Now his body also in a very comfortable state, because the pleasure is there in his body. He can feel that pleasurable things in his body. It is very convenient to use his body. That pleasure is there. When the pleasure is there, the mind tends to the concentration. Pamojja, piti, passaddi, and the sukha. Because of this reason, because of these causes, at the end, because of the sukha, the mind tends to the concentration, the samadhi. When he comes to the meditation posture, when he tries to focus on the meditative object, then he can easily and in a very effective and efficient way, he can focus on the meditative object. He can achieve the access concentrations and the absorption concentration easily because of these results: the pamojja, the joy; piti, the rapture; the passaddi, the serenity; the sukha, the pleasure; and ultimately he is an eligible person to develop the concentration. The mind, his mind automatically tends to the concentration. Whenever he wants to focus on meditative object, whatever the meditative object, he can very easily contemplate about this meditative object and develop the samadhi and have the access concentration and the absorption level. So that is the end of the Dhamma sermon. We can go to the topics, or we can have a summary what we have discussed so far during this Dhamma sermon, Dhamma talk. The first place we had a brief introduction about the restlessness and the worry. What is restlessness and the worry? Then we talked about why these Uddhacca and Kukkucca, restlessness and the worry, they are two realities, why they are combined as one nīvaraṇa. So we talked about that under that topic. Then we talked about the behavior when the Uddhacca Kukkucca arises in our mind. What kind of a feeling we can have, what kind of experience, what is the behavior of this Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. Then we talked about what are the causes to arise those Uddhacca and Kukkucca or Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. What are the reasons, what are the supportive environment to arise these realities or the nīvaraṇa. And the metaphor or the simile with regards to the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa. What is the simile? The slavery or the slave is the simile what we have taken to elaborate the behavior of the Uddhacca Kukkucca nīvaraṇa, the slavery or the story of the slave. How we should identify when Uddhacca Kukkucca is there or when Uddhacca Kukkucca is not there, when the Uddhacca Kukkucca is arising, when the Uddhacca Kukkucca is vanishing, when the Uddhacca Kukkucca is eradicated completely. How we should identify those things and why it is so important. We discuss about that as well. Then how we can suppress Uddhacca Kukkucca and steps for that. So giving the frequent attention or the contemplation towards the Chetaso Vupasamo, we are contemplating about the benefits of having the concentration, or we are focusing on the benefits of the steady mind, still mind. Then it is the cause, the main cause to eradicate or give up the Uddhacca and Kukkucca. Then also we talked about 6 factors what we can improve ourselves, what we can practice by ourselves to remove these Uddhacca and Kukkucca. Then finally we talked about how the relief, how the eradication or how the suppressing of these Uddhacca Kukkucca helps to develop the concentration. So by giving the summary of this Dhamma sermon, I am going to conclude today's Dhamma talk. And during this Dhamma sermon, we have accumulated so many merit. I have accumulated the Dhamma Desana merit, teaching Dhamma or giving Dhamma. And you have accumulated Dhamma Savana merit. You were listening to this Dhamma. and you are contemplating about this Dhamma fact with the wisdom, that is the yoniso manasikara. So by the accumulated merits, we should transfer these merits to our parents, to our teachers who ordained us, who taught us, and who are teaching us Dhamma and Vinaya. May they receive these merits, and may these merits will be a great cause to achieve their wished paths and fruitions. And also we should we should transfer these merits to our loved ones, friends, relatives who have passed away and who are expecting these kind of merit. May they rejoice by these merits, and may they receive these merits, and may these all the accumulated merits will be a great cause for them to achieve the pleasurable or desirable results, and to attain the wished paths and the fruition and the ultimate Nibbana. And we should also send these merits to the Devas and Brahmas. May the Devas and Brahmas rejoice these kind of merits, and may these Devas and Brahmas protect us and you and the Sambuddha and the world, and may these Devas and the Brahmas will attain their wished noble paths and the fruitions and the ultimate Nibbana. And I also want to wish you all the listeners, may these merits will be a great cause, the powerful cause for you to achieve the pleasurable results, desirable results in this life as well, to have the good mental and physical health, to have a long life, to practice Dhamma well, to have the concentrations and the tranquilities and the insight knowledges and all the other higher levels of this practice, spiritual path, the noble paths and the fruitions and the ultimate Nibbana. May you have the desirable lives, pleasurable lives until you achieve the Nibbana, and may you be able to attain that ultimate Nibbana in your by using your wished paths and the fruitions. And may you have the blessings of the triple gems.